Welcome to episode 2 of Project W. We have finally started this house flip, super exciting. You can hear the activity going on behind me already. And this will be a series on YouTube, so look out for Project W. We've already taken you through the before walkthrough in episode 1. Click above if you haven't watched that yet. And let's start this journey together. The tree felling discussions are underway. Don't want the guys falling in. At least we know the pool doesn't have any leaks because it's full. So when starting a house flip, there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that goes on. And it's very important. So it's meetings after meetings and quoting with contractors, negotiating hard. It's organizing the tools on site, the key sets, and it's that assessment stage. So we look at what are we keeping, what are we getting rid of. We've already decided we're getting rid of a lot of stuff, as you can see, and it's also fine-tuning the budget. I still believe it's not 100% possible to get the budget sorted in the beginning, but we try our best. So it also involves me setting up my office on site. So this is it currently. So seriously speaking, this is it. And nothing fancy. So it was in the lounge, but we work in the lounge. We moved it out. We're probably going to move this out to some other room tomorrow. But that's the beauty of it, I guess. So site security is super important, especially in South Africa. So I want to show you, we've got a temporary pole set up here, and we've got a camera. It's the Yale Smart Outdoor Camera, and it's actually picked us up with its motion detection. I saw the light there. And basically it connects to Wi-Fi. It's got a battery. You don't need to run any cables. It's got a siren, a light, a mic for two-way audio, and it allows me to see what's going on site when I'm not here. I can see remotely if the gate and garages are closed, and it's peace of mind, but it's super important as well. And I'll show you what it looks like on the app. So thanks to Yale for this, our site camera. Now, starting with a flip like this can be overwhelming, and the reason is because I see the whole project and all this work that has to be done. This applies to you guys with your projects, DIY stuff, but just life in general, is you need to break it up step by step, bite-sized chunks, day by day, and that's how you move through everything surprisingly quickly. And once obviously deciding what needs to be removed, we start with the actual removal. We've removed floor tiles, as you can see. The wooden floors are out, and you can actually see the existing underfloor heating. And like we spoke about, the floors have come out because it's old laminate. We don't know the brand, the type, and it was warping a little bit on the edges, so decided to remove. So in the dining room, I'm still looking at ideas on the size of the space, and I've got a few in mind on how we could potentially make it bigger. We'll get into that when we get there. We've started removing the tiles in the kitchen, and all the cabinetry has been removed. And what's quite nice is it's a blank, empty space. So it's easier to visualize and to plan the new kitchen when it's like this. And yeah, it's pretty amazing how the perspective changes and you get clarity on a lot of things just by being here and assessing, compared to, in episode 1, it was all fresh. It was the initial walkthrough. So when it comes to the cracks in the house, we've started with the initial assessment, and I think it's best we speak to the expert, the main man. How's it, Prega?
Hi, Steve.
And basically, let's look at this crack as an example. We've identified that there's a crack. And what we do is we open it up just to investigate further. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Okay, like you say, we've identified, we've opened it up, taken out the plaster to see whether it's hairline plaster crack or an actual structural crack. With hairline, we just do a simple fill back to normal. With the structural crack, we do our stitching.
And that's the repair method we use, crack stitching. And thank goodness we've got our in-house crack stitching surgeon over here to repair. Yeah.
It's the one
Okay, come with me, Steve, and I'll show you a hairline crack. So we identified a crack here, and we opened it up a bit, and we see that the brick is intact, but it's just the plaster. So a simple fill, and we're back to square one again. Now we look at a structural crack, which needs a bit of work. If you look at that, you'll see that the crack runs through the brick, and that will require your stitching. Okay, here, Steve, we also have a crack, but twofold. One is it's structural because it's cracked all the way through the brick, and then it's also compromised as to where they put the conduit, which is not too deep, that formed a major crack. So here as well, we're going to do our stitching.
So it's interesting, we see different reasons why a crack is formed, and you can also see, like we assessed just now, that it's quite a weak plaster mix they've used, probably because it's sort of crumbling away. Shame, the house is hurting. It needs its crack surgery. I'm actually going to start calling Prega the crack whisperer from now on. Hey guys, it's day 5 on site, and this is how things are looking. We've stripped out a lot of the stuff. We're basically done with all the demo, and as you can see, we've got a plan in place. We're going to extend the dining room a little bit, just so that it's the right size. So we're going to basically extend to this wall over here. And we head up into the dining. We're going to do a bit of a change with this wall. You can see where we've drawn this line here. Basically up to the bulkhead, we're going to take this whole section down. It's actually one of my friend's ideas, so thanks for that, Brew. The builders, they're ready to demolish this wall. Franz, you got your scientist coat on, I see. The scientist of construction. Let's get the grinder through, and then we slowly, both sides, we slowly take the wall off. Once this piece is off, we can move to this section. It's day 7 on site, and I want to show you guys, this is the result of the demolition in the dining kitchen section. So this wall we've taken out, and we've pushed the wall a little bit that way up to the bulkheads. And the reason being, we're going to keep the bulkheads and they'll run seamlessly from the dining into the kitchen. And I'm very happy with the more open plan feeling that this created. However, the kitchen is not big enough to house your washing machine, your scullery, wash area, pantry, broom cupboard. So that's the only issue with this space. So, like I mentioned briefly in episode 1, this section outside the back door is the perfect space to create a scullery or wash area. Just gonna spin around, and basically we'll extend this to this wall here. And half of the work is done because there's already a floor. We just need to extend the floor to here. Roof just needs to be extended that little bit. We'll remove this door and have a new back door. So I want to take you guys through the entire process of getting this sorted, the build, every little thing we need to consider to get this done. First thing to do involves the sewerage line. Basically, you can see the gully is there, but when this extension is done, the gully will need to be somewhere here, obviously outside the house. This will all be inside. It's day 9 on site, and I want to give you guys an update on the scullery build. So we dug, we exposed the sewerage line, which you can see is here. So now at least we can sort out the plumbing after this is built. Then foundation is in, as you can see, and then on the side walls you can see these steel rebars, and this is so that we can tie the new wall nicely into the existing. Obviously we chipped off the old plaster here. And basically what we're doing now, we're setting up the profiles, making sure our lines are right, and then we can build the brickwork. France, we need to make sure that we square here, eh? Yes. Okay, just check that it looks a bit off square, that line. We found ourselves wading through grass again. This is only 1 month of growth. We trimmed a month ago, and because of the rains, as everyone knows, the beautiful rains we've had in Joburg, this is the result. 1 month. Clive, thanks for being here.
Hi, Steve.
You got the whole team, I see.
Yes,
and
yes,
can't wait for this garden to be trimmed.
So we're just gonna transform this garden to another thing.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And Clive is great at what he does. We've built up a lovely working relationship over the years, and I highly recommend him. You know, if you've got massive trees, you can't get up there, you need an expert to do it. This is the guy. He's got his team, he's got his tools, he's got the insurance. I'll leave you guys to get to the work. I'll set up some cameras, some time lapses, so we can really showcase the trimming of these crazy big trees here.
Thank you so much,
Okay.
yes, Steve.
So these are the guinea fowl nests. We found the nest. Yes! Because there's babies, they're getting aggressive. We've got quite an audience here, very much enthralled at the skills of Spider-Man over here. This tree's coming out, eh?
Okay, the whole thing.
Yeah. Safety first. This is great firewood for days, for years. So this is the back door and we head into the staff room over here. And my plan is to actually renovate the staff room first. So the goal is to have a working toilet. And basically you've seen in here, this was part of the partial renovations that were done when we got into the house. They were done with the previous owners. So we're gonna get the toilet waste sorted. We're gonna have a pedestal vanity there. So we can get the pipework chased in and for the shower. And then after that we can renovate in here, get electric sorted, get the ceilings in, tiles, and then get the bathroom stuff in. So this will be the side toilet. And then the nice thing with that is it'll be already renovated, so that we don't have to do this at a later stage. So we'll do the roof as well on top. So we've got plumbing and co, John and his team here to get this sorted ASAP. So it's time for an update at the scullery extension section. So you can see we've built the wall up to floor level. So the floor of the scullery will be at that existing floor level. So there will be a step down from the existing house. So we let this set a bit, then we finish the floor. Then once that's set a bit, we carry on building the wall up to roof level, which will be the next step at the next update. Hey John, welcome to Project W.
Center, mixer,
Cool.
basin, and goes into the water supply.
And we all piped up in the staff room. Check at that, quick sticks.
Or as close to that as possible, and then put it so that way it's like halfway in the wall, so if we need to cut it, we'll still cut it as we need. I just wanted to try and flush it to this wall here as possible. Okay, so we can bring that toilet to this wall.
40, so that's perfect.
Okay.
And then yeah, we'll obviously just rewire this board and bridge.
Back at the staff room section here, and I want to give you an update. So ceilings are in, as you can see. We've sorted out the electrics in here, and as you saw, the pipes are all in for the bathroom. and we're currently plastering over the pipes, as you can see. But super important tip, before plastering over the pipes, you need to check that there's no leaks. And this was echoed by the Plumbing & Co team. So we pressurized the pipes, and there was actually a little leak, which we fixed, and then we plastered over. So a top tip, when you're doing your own DIY renovation work, your own project, don't forget about that. Just think of me, think of Steve from Flipping Josie. Can't really see much. Let's jump to the main bathroom. Working on the shower waste. So after our crack assessment, a lot of the cracks are cracked through the brick. So for these, we need to do the crack stitching method to repair it. And these are the steps to follow to carry out this repair method.
Okay, so now that we've assessed, as we said, we now mark out the cracks and cut along the cracks to expose the cracks and the depth of the crack. So further to that, we'll cut at perpendicular to the crack for our stitching.
And that's spaced about every 400 or so?
Yes, 400 centers, and then that is for your stitching.
Now the material we use for the stitching is reinforcing steel bars, Y8.
So with these Y8 rebars, we cut them to size and bend them to fit into the stitch.
So now we reach the actual crack stitching section of the repair, the carrying out of the surgery.
Okay, so the process there is once we've cut out the walls and we're ready for stitching, we drill into the walls and those cut and bent rebars are hammered into place.
So this steel is actually preventing any further movement at the crack, is that correct?
So because you're now, as you say, stitching it, it's sort of reinforcing the crack across it, preventing any further movement.
Okay, so the surgery is not complete yet. We still need to make it look nice. So what do we do now?
So now that we've stitched it, we need to now fill it. So we fill it with a strong mortar mix, and then once we've reached the steel bar, above that we put in what is called a fiber mesh. Now this fiber mesh is there to prevent any hairline cracks from occurring in the future.
And then after the mix has set, we plaster and bring it to the final finish.
Yeah.
Surgery complete. That's everything.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I don't know if it's funny or not. Why is there such a big cavity?
They just stuffed it with loose stuff and they only tacked the top.
But why do you think there was that cavity in the first place? You fit the entire phone
it's a
in.
cavity wall. You know, the walls are cavity walls.
Yeah.
So when they packed it in and they did that, they just didn't throw it properly. And
Seeing these floor cracks is giving me PTSD from Project V. So you guys have seen in this episode the garden cleanup, demo, crack stitching, how to build a scullery extension, and we're showing no signs of slowing down. So stay tuned for episode 3 for more pure, unadulterated house flipping goodness. Cheers guys.